So we'll be recording today's session on standard reports for Jonas Encore software. The phones will be muted. You can use the chat box to direct questions to myself. Otherwise, you can hold your questions until the end of the session, depending upon how many we have at the end. There'll be a question and answer period at the completion of the webinar. Again, webinars are to enhance your knowledge of the Jonas Encore software. As a refresher for those individuals that have already taken detailed training on the Jonas Encore system by a certified Jonas trainer. And the webinar should be about 50 minutes of information with 10 minutes for questions at the end. So standard reports, the webinar should focus on what's new for standard reporting. There's a new feature as of version 15.3 called Save As. We'll look at that feature, as well as how to publish reports in one place, how to make standard reports work for you, and we'll just talk about in general some of the new features associated with this reporting tool. So each application or module within the software has standard reports, which are accessible from the ribbon bar, modules menu, or additional options. So the ribbon bar are your images or shortcut keys at the top. The modules menu is that side panel with a yellow background on the left-hand side of your screen. The additional options is your hammer icon at the right-hand side of your Encore screen. So in here you can see you can access your reports from here. You can access your reports from up top, or you can access your reports from this additional options. So again, here's a screenshot of where you can find those. You can customize your ribbon bar with your favorite reports by right-clicking on the report in the additional options menu and adding or removing the item. So a green check mark means that it's already in your ribbon. No check mark means that it's not on your ribbon. So this is how we can easily add or remove. So for example, if I didn't want the account inquiry report, so this member inquiry report, I could right-click and remove it from ribbon, and it's now disappeared from my reports. I could go over here and I could add the member export by right-clicking and hitting add to ribbon, and now it's up top. Some new additions to the standard reporting tool. So in accounts receivable, there are 4 new reports: client edit log inquiry, client edit log report, fee billing forecast report, and member fee billing report. The edit logs are the most recent reports to be added here. These are reports and inquiry grids on changes made to member accounts. The fee billing forecast reports is a revenue projection report for all incoming fee billings, and the member fee billing report will show you the members associated with each fee billing agreement. In accounts payable, we have 2 reports: the month-end payment register or check register, as well as the aged payables list. In the point of sale module, we have reason code reporting. So this report actually allows you to report on the reasons that have been used in POS voids or discounts, as well as a sales cover analysis. And that's a report that will give you a breakdown of your covers by area, by meal period, and allow you to see your average per cover. In event management, we also have some reports for event profit and loss, point of sale transfers to event, sales forecast by service type, and event bookings financial. Time tracker module, some new reports for you. There's a department time analysis and there's a staff time analysis. This gives you a breakdown of the time entries for staff on an individual basis, as well as the department as a whole. The class scheduling module, we have an instructor itinerary, a booking log, and class attendees. So the features of your standard report, most standard reports feature the following. So date selection parameters. Do I want to see it for the month end of such a date? Do I want to see it over a period of 1 month, 2 months, a day, a week? We also have formatting options. Most reports have a detailed or summary. Sometimes detailed is too much information for your purposes, so you can always dial that down with a summary report, which will just give you more of a bird's eye view and less detail in, but both are available to you. Most reports have sorting options and grouping options, so this can help if you're going to print it or if you're going to export it to an Excel. you can actually, start by sorting it in Encore and then export it to Excel for further work. There's also information on what you want to include or exclude, so kind of like filters or excluding certain membership types or excluding certain information. All standard reports can be saved as a PDF file, a Word file, or Excel file. So some clients will actually export your standard reports to an Excel file, and then you can further manipulate it. So some examples of selection options. If we look at the AR aged receivable list, there's an as of date. So as of what date do I want to see my aging buckets? I can choose detailed or summary. So detailed will give you every charge that falls into a bucket, whereas summary will just tell you how much that member owes in each bucket. You have sorting options, so you can sort by member number, by their last name, by their type and status, by their member type and last name, highest to lowest total overdue, and the rest. So there's a lot of options for sorting. There's a flag on this report to print only overdue accounts, so you can actually just highlight those accounts that need your attention, those ones that haven't been paid. There's also an include payments as of, so if you allow members, the first few days after month end, you're still accepting checks. If you want to exclude those or include them, that checkbox is there so that you're going to see those aging buckets based on whether or not you include late payments. It also gives you the option to include unposted POS transactions. So the posting of your POS transactions through end of day, that's what stamps the charges to the member's account. So if you haven't done that yet, but you still want to include it in your aging, then we do give you that option here. So here's the view of the report and some of those options that you can select. Another standard report, just to highlight, is the point of sale sales by item, very common standard report. This is showing you your sales and point of sale only. You have a start and end date, so I can do this a day at a time, a week at a time, a month, a year. I can choose detailed summary or summary with package item detail. And then I have multiple grouping options. So I have, do I want to group by category? Do I want to group by group? Do I want to group by sales area? And then you can select your specific sales area. So if I'm just doing a food and beverage sales report, then I can exclude the golf area or the tennis shop. I can select specific sales item categories and then specific items as well. So if I want to know how many bottles of a certain type of wine I've sold, I can actually narrow that report down to say, just show me, this bottle of red wine and the sales associated with it. So you can see here from left to right, we have step 1 is your generic parameters, then step 2 is filtering on your sales areas. Step 3 is breaking it down to how many categories you want to show. Step 4 is even more specific, what sales items do I want to show. And then step 5 is the meal period. So if I just want to see, certain sales in my breakfast meal period or my lunch, I can narrow it down as well. When you're selecting item categories, sales areas, sales items, there's a right-click feature, just using your mouse to right-click, which brings up this option of select all, unselect all, so that you don't actually have to sit there and click all the boxes, or maybe it's easier to unselect all and just, click 1 or 2. So that's just using the right-click feature on your mouse. Do you have to check all these options each time you run the report? What a headache. So until recently, yes, you did, but the new feature with standard reports is that you can actually save your report settings or parameters and use them again. So the Save As feature is new, and what you can do is you can select all your parameters, check off all those boxes, and just do it that one time. Once you've set those parameters, and let's say this is a report you want to run on a weekly basis, you don't have to set those parameters ever again. Set them once, save the format, and then every time you want to run that report, you just have to pull up the format instead of having to select all your, choices again. So once you've done your selection process, you'll hit the Save Format button. That's a floppy disk icon. Then it'll prompt you to name your report, and this can be anything, that makes sense to you. Once you name your report, you'll choose the load date. So the load date means when I load this report, what date do I want it to populate with? Because obviously it's not always going to be the same date. So I can say use the current date whenever I'm running it, use the current month that I'm in, use the previous month, or use actual dates entered or year to date. Again, you can always change the date at the time of running it, but this just makes it a little bit easier, one less step. Once you've saved it, if you open up that report in the future, in the Select Format dropdown, you're going to see all of the different reports that you've saved. And then you'll just find the format that you're looking for. For example, food sales, you'll hit Generate, and it will populate that report based on the parameters in that saved version. You can also publish the feature to be a part of your My Reports page. So the My Reports folder is found in Accounts Payable, Accounts Receivable, Point of Sale. It's the same My Reports folder icon. And what that allows you to do is publish all of your reports to one place so that when you want to run your weekly reports, they're all in one folder. You don't have to go to each module and open up all your different reports to run them. They're all in one spot. You can launch them all from that single area. So if you choose to do so, you can publish your reports to the My Reports folder. And then you can see this is what it will look like. Any reports published to your My Reports folder will be listed. This also includes Encore Business Intelligence reports, so any custom reports that you're creating using the BI module. If you publish them, they'll show up in the same spot as published canned reports. So you can see here the little icons, the ones with the black writing on it, those here, those are your BI reports, and these icons denote a canned report. And it tells you the name of the canned report and then the name of the format. So reports will now display the selection parameters. So there's also a future enhancement that will allow you to hide these parameters if you don't want to see it. So you can see on the sales by item, we've selected a lot of parameters to say, show me these sales item categories. So I can see selected, and then it has listed that giant paragraph at the top. Again, future enhancement is the ability to hide this if you don't want to see this, but this is useful so that when you're looking at the report, you know what it's showing you. You know what filters were set for selection, and it will show you the choices that you made on what you wanted to display. There's also new features under the My Preferences, which is available to all users to auto-hide parameters and generate reports to full screen automatically. So when you hit Generate on a report, normally you're hiding the parameters and then you're enlarging the screen. This is a default setting now that you can turn on. So under the report viewing defaults, there's that auto-hide parameters, which means all my choices. Once I hit Generate, hide them. Auto full screen, which means once I hit Generate, open the report result in a full screen window.